This is almost as bad as the time that Superman existed. Welcome to Superhero Rundown. I'm Jess, and today we're going to look at a movie that exists? I mean, it does benefit Loki in a way. This is Thor: The Dark World.
Now, after the success of Ragnarok, can we legitimately say Thor: The Dark World is a good movie? No, we can't. Not on the merit of Ragnarok, anyway. But it does establish more of Loki's character arc and is responsible for introducing the Ether, an infinity fluid? So how is it a stone in Infinity War?
Great. More continuity that doesn't make sense. You know, you would think with a story as big as the MCU, they would try to get continuity that makes more sense.
We begin with backstory on the Dark Elves. So,
strap in, because a whole lot of nothing's about to happen.
A long ass time ago, the evil Ninth Doctor, and I'm sure if he stumbles upon this, he'll love that, decided to use an infinity fluid to wage war on Asgard because actually it's really just that he's evil. And because he's evil, he fails because Asgard is better at war. And is this during Hela as executioner, or is she already imprisoned by this point?
It's not clear, is what I'm saying.
The ether is buried somewhere where no one will possibly find it unless it's convenient to the fucking plot. Loki, meanwhile, is brought back to Asgard after the events of the Avengers and is told he will not be executed because Frigga is the coolest and he'll never see her again as he spends the rest of his days in the dungeons. Odin also tells him that Thor is undoing all the damage Loki has wrought and then Thor will be king. Meanwhile, Jane Foster is on a date. Darcy shows up and tells Jane that she expected her to be moping about Lord of Thunder, but the real reason she's there is to tell Jane that her science-y thingamabobs are doing a thing. And then she leaves.
In this part of the movie, Darcy is the only thing driving the plot.
Eric is missing because he was naked at Stonehenge and shouting at tourists while holding science-y equipment. You know, for reasons. Darcy has an intern now, apparently. His name is Ian, and they plus Jane go to some abandoned warehouse district to look for the Bifrost.
It's okay, we're Americans!
I miss the Obama administration.
They find some kids who show them the portals. Jane gets teleported to another world and infected with the infinity fluid thing that no one was supposed to find, and the evil Ninth Doctor awakens. Heimdall tells Thor that he can't see Jane anymore, and Thor goes to Earth to find her. Jane finds herself back on Earth, and Darcy tells her she's been gone for hours. Thor also shows up, and Jane demands to know why he didn't come back. He explains that he had to protect Earth. Then the best exchange happens.
Look at you! Still all muscly and everything. How's space?
Space is fine.
A police officer touches Jane and the ether protects her from the cop. Thor takes her to Asgard where the Asgardians examine her. Odin interrupts and tells Thor she can go back to Earth. The guards try to touch her and the ether attacks again.
So off screen, I guess Odin's like, whatever, she could stay.
Then Odin becomes exposition king of Asgard. Loki has a philosophical conversation with himself in the form of his mother, and time passes and in the dungeon a dark elf infiltrates, causing an explosion, and escapes. Loki tells him where to go. Malekith confronts Frigga, but she manages to trick him, so he kills her just as Thor arrives. Frigga gets a Viking funeral, and it's probably the most memorable scene in the movie for me. Heimdall feels guilt over not being able to stop the Dark Elves. Thor and Odin talk, but Thor decides to defy Odin and enlist the help of Heimdall and the Warriors 3 to help let Loki escape. Loki has been grieving for Frigga, and Thor offers him vengeance in exchange for off-world passage.
Oh, this is much better. Whoa. Costume's a bit much. So tight. With the confidence, I can feel the righteousness surging. Hey, you want to have a rousing discussion about truth, honor, patriotism? God bless them.
Hi, Captain America. Hi. You're so hot. Hi. I love you.
Thor, Loki, and Jane manage to get on a Dark Elf ship and start to escape. Just because you could fly yourself doesn't mean you could pilot a ship. With the Asgardians in hot pursuit, they escape the ship and manage to get into a boat instead. They escape Asgard with Malekith's notice.
Good job, Loki.
Then Loki betrays Thor, surprise, and gives Foster to Malekith so he can extract the ether. Thor tries to lightning the ether, but it fails.
You guys, it's because we need a third act. Obviously.
Loki dies while fighting Algrim as Malekith has left for the convergence. Jane tells Thor what's going on. They find the portal and return to Earth. She's on the phone with her date in space in front of her boyfriend.
What the shit? My phone doesn't get that kind of reception in Linkara's spaceship.
They find out that Malekith is going to destroy the world from Greenwich. Greenwich. That's so mundane. Thor and Malekith start fighting. Portal shenanigans happen, but the locations are so mundane except the penis building that I don't care.
You could have gone anywhere. Done anything. You picked Greenwich. Have fun with the locations, come on!
Thor eventually wins as Malekith is crushed to death by his own ship. Thor returns to Asgard to reject the throne, and it is revealed that Loki is impersonating Odin. Also sets up Ragnarok, which is nice. And the Asgardians give the ether to the Collector for safekeeping, noting it is unwise to keep 2 Infinity Stones in the same place. The second movie to foreshadow Thanos specifically, who will appear at the end of Ragnarok. The problem is that Loki and Darcy are really the only good parts of the movie. Loki's arc advances, seeing him sacrifice himself to help Thor, even if it is revealed later that he used magic, and Darcy is great as comic relief who drives the plot. There's even a callback to this movie in Ragnarok where Thor and Loki are looking for Odin on Midgard, and Thor tells him he mourned Loki after the events of Dark World. Loki's character arc has started with Thor, which establishes Asgard, continued with the Avengers where he fulfilled his promise to Thanos, even if he was mind-controlled. It culminates here where he actually helps Thor, even if he was a petulant child at times, and will continue into Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War.
I still have beef with Infinity War's hot mess, but that's an argumentative comment section for another time.
There's no stakes here. Well, there are, but we don't really care about them unless they are Loki's arc. Even Frigga's death is an extension of Thor and Odin.
I mean, it does a lot to establish the Red Infinity Stone and Loki's backstory, but that's really about it.
At no point during my watching this did I think, man, this is actually amazingly good. Like Iron Man good. I liked the first Thor, but this sequel is lacking in a lot of ways. It's fun at points, but that's about the extent of it.
Next time, we jump back into DC's Arrowverse for Season 1 of Legends of Tomorrow. So if you want to see me fangirl about Captain Cole's redemption arc, join me for that.